Hello, this is another impromptu Facebook Live session to answer a couple of questions that I've gotten over the weekend. Oh gosh, we're way past the weekend. Over the past couple of days that I thought some people might be struggling with. So the first question, somebody asked if enrolling in, say, a private online curriculum provider. I don't know if your research has, you've come across that. So they would be like Abeka, Calvert School, Seton Homeschool, another is Switched on Schoolhouse. So these companies provide lesson plans and a curriculum tailored to your child's grade. So you just enroll with those, and probably they have different levels of participation. Maybe they have a la carte options. I'm not sure. So her question was whether if she enrolled her child in one of those, whether that would count as a private school and she would be able to forego filing an affidavit and that sort of thing. And the answer is no. You can certainly avail yourselves of those offerings, enroll in those, and participate in those providers, but you would have to file an affidavit and a proposed list of objectives and start a home education program. Now, if you are filing under the private tutor option, still the same thing. So the private tutor option is available to PA certified teachers. So, you could also file as a private tutor and use one of those resources. That's up to you, but it's not considered a private school under Pennsylvania law. And if you think about it, it makes sense because public and private schools are subject to the laws and regulations in Pennsylvania. So an off-site, out-of-state private provider would not be subject to the laws of Pennsylvania. Even if they're, headquartered in Pennsylvania, they operate under different, it's a business, so it's not a school entity, so to speak. So I hope that answers your question. And that kind of brings me to the second part of her question. Was she was just saying it's hard for her to make a decision. She hasn't decided yet because the school hasn't finalized their plans. And she asked if she was subject to the August 1st deadline. She said, I don't think they're going to make their decision by August 1st, but the August 1st deadline for filing an affidavit and materials only applies to continuing homeschoolers. So if it's your first year of filing, which it is probably for most people who are parents who would rather have their kids be going to their conventional school, if it's your first year, you have to file prior to commencement of the home education program. And if you are for sure, if you definitely know you're going to do it, then I would file it now, and at the very latest within 3 days of the start of school to avoid truancy laws kicking in. Then the thing I suggested to her is that she could see how the plan works out for her family, and even after school starts, say they tried for a couple of days, a couple of weeks, and it's just not working, she could file and commence a home education program after she decides whether it works or not for her family. And that involves just withdrawing your student, getting your paperwork in order, and being ready to, file the affidavit and the proposed list of objectives. And if you have a child with special needs, there's that extra step that I've talked about in other videos. So that eased her mind a little bit, I think. But ultimately, she still has to make the decision. The only caveat I would put on that advice, and I didn't want to get into this with her in an email. I just, I don't really prefer to answer emails anyway, but I'd rather do this. But that was a quick question. And if I wouldn't file, the only reason I wouldn't send my child to school first and take a wait and see approach is if they haven't reached or won't reach their 6th birthday by September 1st. Because if they will be turning 6 after September 1st, then you don't have to file anything this year. If they will turn 6 before September 1st anyway, you're going to have to either enroll them or file. It doesn't matter. But okay, so here's the crazy thing. Even if they turn 6 after September 1st, she would have to file for them if they've spent a single day in a public school, even at home. Even if they attend at least one day, then you've kind of waived that 6-year-old, I don't know how to say it, you have to file no matter what. If they spend a single day in public school, so it would be online charter school, school district online option, or attending in person, then she's going to have to file no matter what if she decides to homeschool. So that's really only an issue if you have, your child is like kindergarten or 1st grade and hasn't turned 6 yet or won't before September 1st. It just adds a little layer of decision making. So hopefully, I know that gets so confusing, but if your kids are older than 6, then you don't have that decision to make. And it's not a huge deal, especially if, like, say you have 3 other kids and your youngest is on the border. It's a little more of a hassle, but definitely keep that under consideration. So I hope I clarified the August 1st question, because it only applies for continuing homeschoolers. So, I do want to encourage you to read the text of the law over and over again. It's not that long, but you'll see, for example, the language for that distinction is right in the text of the law. And so it'll help you understand it, and you'll recognize when you come across that, and instead of relying on just what somebody else is saying, you can read it for yourself. But I really encourage you to familiarize yourself with the language of the homeschool law. You can find that on the PA Homeschooling.com website. And if you, on the top menu bar, there's resources, and if you just hover over that, you can click on the law, and it gives you the text of the law. Now, I updated that in 2014 when the law changed. So anyway, hopefully that's a good resource, and I hope this helps clarify. All right, have a good day, and maybe I'll see you again this week.